All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Resolume Weekly, the weekly live stream of Resolume. Everything Resolume can be will be shown here, new features, stuff like that. The whole live stream is basically also one big Q&A. Ask any questions in the chat if you like. There might actually be some of the developers in the chat right now, but most of the team is on a holiday. Last week there was no live stream. That was because I fell ill. Um, but I'm all back up again and ready to rock the show. This is going to be a slightly different Resolume Weekly as before, because normally I show you all kinds of new features and stuff we are working on. But most of the team is on holiday, so there is just not that much development going on right now. So I was thinking, let's do a sort of a thematic a live stream. And I was looking at the footage from I forgot his name, Dan Chelger. He has a few packs um, on our store. And what I wanted to do is see if this kind of stuff can be replicated in Wire, but also I think we should be able to achieve similar results in Arena as well. So I want to start off with Wire, and from there on transition to Arena. It's by no means to rip him off or anything, but I think these are cool visuals, and he does it all with like analog gear, so video mixers patched in to one another. Um, he says based on several analog AD techniques, video mixers, FX processors, hardware, video synths, uh, circuit bending, and some DIY stuff. So I thought it would be cool to replicate that. Of course, you're never going to get the resolution he has. The stuff is all just voltages, and we're working with data. But I think it's a cool challenge. I will say though, if you have any questions, if you're in the chat and you have any questions about any subject regarding Arena or Wire, just let me know, and I'll answer them as good as I can, because this is of course a Q&A first and a glitch show the latter. So I'll switch back and forth between some of his work and then try to replicate some of it in Wire. If you have any suggestions, yeah, let me know, because this is also a rather new avenue to explore for me. So without further ado, let's get started. Uh, I thought this first clip was kind of cool, sort of wavy bars, and I'm curious if that is something I can replicate. So let's get to it. First, I'll need some sort of a gradient. I'll create a new patch. I'll need some sort of a gradient, and I want the gradient to repeat, as we saw in the clip. So instead of using the gradients, because then I would just have two colors, I want to have multiple sets of colors. So I'll create a custom texture, and from there on create a gradient. So what I'll do is create maybe a linear node, going from 0 to 1, and then I'll create a pack and probably a little bit more resolution, 32, for the red channel, and then create a texture out of it. Yes, this should already create a texture for us. And no, I want to do it differently. This is overcomplicating. Gradient palettes, way faster. Is it faster? No. I'll continue this way. If I do this on 1, and I'll expand it. Yes, expanding it is a good way to go. And I'll expand it to 64, and I'll ping pong it. So now we have a gradient with black on the sides, maybe something like this. Yes. And I'll expand that again to 128. And I'll also ping pong it. So now we have basically this double gradient. And lastly, we'll resize it. And stretch. Yeah. So now we have our gradient. So for those who for that was a little bit too fast, I create a linear node which produces 32 values from 0 to 1, and I input it into a pack node. So if you use a pack, it produces a float 4, which is also a color. So I have the linear node producing the red channel. I have the Y just set at 0, would be the green channel, and the Z would be the blue channel. So that's where I put a normal or just arbitrary value. And the W would be the alpha, which I want to have at full. Then I'm expanding it and adding it ping pong. So basically I'm doubling the collection in size and reversing it. And I'm doing that again over here. Then I produce a texture out of it, which is 120 pixels by 1, which is of course not large enough. And I resize it to have this this texture. I could also probably just mirror it. Now I'm thinking about it. Does that get nice? No. Do we have something like a repeat for videos? Yes, we do. Does that work? Well, that would work. Well, it also works. Now I have 3. Would have been also a solution. There are many ways that lead to Rome. And now going back to let me grab the footage again. I close the tab. Looking at the clip, we want some sort of wavy distortion running over the gradient lines. And the first thing I'm thinking about is using fractal noise. Oh, what the fuck? Uh-oh, did I just end the live stream? Oh, we're still live. Oh, I'm messing this up. I closed the tab containing the live stream. I hope you guys can still hear and see me. I was looking for the tab of the footage, and by accident, I closed the live stream. So I hope I'm still there. But YouTube says I'm there. I'm still there. All right. So where were we? Oh yeah, we're looking at this clip and saying we need some kind of fractal, or like we need some kind of wavy distortion. That's what we need. We need to go wavy. We need to go distorted. All right. So my first guess is, by the way, I'm making this up as we go. So if you have any suggestions, I'm also up for it. First thing I would say is a UV offset. That would probably work. And then we could use a fractal noise Now this is not wavy yet. So if I we're streaming of berry powder, yeah. Now we have our waves. Now if I would, this is I think too harsh visually. So reducing the amplitude makes it more smoky. Frequency doesn't really matter in this case, and making the density less, could do something like this. Then I want to move the waves, so to speak. For this, I'll pack another 3 because we want the phase offset wants a float 3. And for this, I'll use transport time because we need something that sort of runs forever. And as soon as I start transporting, this will run forever. So that works. I don't know if this is good enough for distortion, but we'll see. Let's offset it. All right. Increase the multiplication. Wrap it. Maybe you can modulate this a little bit. Let's modulate that with, I don't know, Berlin noise. No, that's ugly. I want something slow. Oh, well, we could just lower the amplitude. Uh-huh. All right. That's more or less random-isher. I think we should modulate because the visual we're looking at is moving up and down. So maybe just our fractal noise should move up and down as well. That should be the Y. Yes. Let's just patch this in there as well. See what happens. Yeah, now we have the movement. All right, we're getting places. It's not that extremely glitchy yet, but uh, we'll work on that. Let's see, what else could we do? What happens if we add some channels to it? I don't think there's any visual there. We could take a look at some different noise, but I don't think it would make that much of a difference. Berlin or simplex. Simplex would be more noisy. And we're also hitting densities close to 0. Not that big of a fan of that. So we'll multiply this one. Now the values are getting too large. Oh. Looks very sine wavy. I think that's because I lowered the frequency of the Berlin noise to a point that it's almost a sine oscillator. Yeah. I think I want something else for this. Probably just a random note between, let's say, 1 and 3. And we'll just smooth it out. Or just a lot of smoothing. And we can just metronome it. or even better, transport beat every bar or so. All right, I'm not that happy yet with the fractal noise source for the distortion. Just seeing how I could make it worse, basically. We can pixelate it. Would that make a difference? That makes it incredibly ugly. Nice. Oh, maybe this way. So we want... well, it is an interesting effect. All right. I think I just had a short disconnect with OBS, but we should be back. I want a lot of columns. I don't know about this one. I sort of wish these were fatter, so they would fill up the screen. Maybe if I just transform it, stretch it up, see what happens. Like scale it, but only in the, because it's a UV offset, it doesn't matter if it's like ugly or out of proportion. Well, this works sometimes. And then combine it with a pixelate. We're getting somewhere. Color offset on the noise. Suggestion by Stein. Let's try that. Maybe cut this one out. Set it. And then maybe move it around. So now I think we got a pretty solid. Let's try all the offsets. We want 100, 200, and then minus 200. So this is already this is already pretty Dan Shelger on demand. Maybe we should just ditch the whole. What if we don't? What if we use a map instead? Oh, not that map. A UV map instead. I don't know. I never used the UV map. Well, you get something altogether different altogether. Well, that's funky too. Some suggestion by Stein, color offset on the noise. We're doing that. Higher offsets. We're using green now too. Yeah, I don't know if there's much point in offsetting the Y. no, that's a bad idea. But I think we're getting pretty close-ish, right? To the originales. Different color scheme, of course. So, but it sort of like squashes itself in. This might be something we can replicate with feedback, video feedback. So we have this thing going. So we want to squash it and then stretch it again. I don't know if this is going to work, but let's see. Video delay. Yes, more video delay. So here we could do something. This is a little trick I found. So we'll crop it. Yes, so that's the default setting. And we'll crop it from the top like this. That goes into the video layer. Then we transform it, push it back into the video, but then we translate it upwards. So like, oh, that's way too much. 3, 10, minus 10. Yeah. This is already a pretty cool glitchy visual by itself, like the cropping and then moving it. So basically each frame gets moved up minus 10 pixels, so 10 pixels upwards in the feedback loop. We could also move it sideways. But then, yeah, you get this. Woo! We could add a little sign to that. Move it up, move it left and right. Back this one with a minus 10. And swoon it. All right, what happens if we input this? Now we're getting pretty close, I think. And if I now take the crop, and I'm gonna lock this for a second. If I move this up and down, the cropping, then I can get some really ugly visuals, which is what we want. Oh, that's left. Well, left also looked good. I was thinking about the top, like moving that around. Oh, but moving moving the left one actually looks better. So let's just put some Perlin noise on that one. Absolute it. And see what we got. We're getting pretty destructive here. Ah, what the hell? Let's do it to the right as well. That's maybe a little bit too much. This is a very weird analog video-ish visual we're getting here. Maybe if we offset it. No, just screw this. Just keep it like this. What do you guys think? Am I getting close? There's still this sort of upward movement, where also we replicate the upward movement. Now you could do something like create a video mixer, and mix in just some static. Just a very little bit, or maybe a lot. Let's see. I'll just animate the static. Doesn't really matter what you use for this. So we can get the static and then change the mode to get a little bit of the video grain into it. Apply some vignetting. Mix that up. Or does it have a black background? No. With a solid black. To give it more of this TV vibe. I think this is pretty cool. Did I do a good job on creating a glitchy video? You know what? What would be nice maybe is if I save this and then I share these patches with you in the comments, so you can play along with it yourself. I think I'm finished with this one. I want to try something else. Yeah, I'll save this and I'll share it with you guys. You can play with it, make different colors, etc., etc. Glitch level was over 9,000. No, it's not over 9,000 yet. We're gonna go there. Glitch one. We're gonna go there. We're going in complete and utter destruction. Glitch one. All right, new patch. Let's look at Dan again for some inspiration. This one is really easy, I think. This one is really easy, right? With some video feedback, we could really easily replicate this one. Is this one fun to replicate though? This might one be a bit too no, I don't know. The shapes, they overlap, go under each other. What do you think? Is this do you want me to see me replicate this one or another one? We have some cool color offset stuff, wobbly lines, and don't forget I also still need to make a glitch effect in Arena. That's also on the menu for today. Maybe grab some of his older work, see what that does. How about glitch effects that affect the texture, like an effector footage? Yeah, that's a cool idea, Steve. Let's do that. Let's run with that. We're gonna create a glitch effect. Yeah, let's do that. I think that's a cool idea. So let's start with, I'll grab some footage. Let's see, I have here the dark attraction pack. I'm grabbing a random video now. All right. It's again the one with the dick, huh? I'm sort of always grabbing, I'm always grabbing the one with the dick. Let's do a different one. Well, I think this is not a good one because this already has sort of this glitch layer over it. I'll find something else. The Trinity pack we had a while ago. This doesn't have that much going on. These are a bit too empty. Like they have a lot of alpha, a lot of transparency. Yeah, the dark attraction one is not good for this purpose. But I think this clip would be just fine. It's from the Trinity pack. Let me clear my resources that I'm not using. Maybe that's a bit of OCD for me. All right, so we have this clip going, and we want to glitch it up. Maybe we can start like really basic and then move on as we go. My first thought would be sort of a pixelation effect. So I'll start again with the static. Oh, that's something else. Static. And I want bigger cubes, so I'll pixelate the static. Into something like this. And again, a saw to move it around. And then at some point, I just want to UV map it probably, or UV offset it. So this is sort of our base. We'll wrap it. This might be like just too harsh, like too jittery. So I'll create another video loop. And I'll use the same trick as we did before with the transform. And I'll just scale it outwards, for example. And now we have this thing. So it's a lot more subtle. But we're not here for subtlety, Mark. We're here for utter and total destruction. So maybe move this back up again. So now it's sort of vibrating on the edges a little more. We could also do something wild, like introduce a rotation. And we probably need to do color offset again. Like 100, 200, 300. And let's take rotation off. It's a bit too much. And let's repeat this. And only this direction. What if we reverse it? Really stupid idea, but who knows? Well, that is actually interesting. That's funny. What if we only do it in one direction? And then a lot. Like a lot. And then squish it. So we have a lot of columns, but that's okay. We want very few rows probably. No, the rows are fine. The columns should be less. I want like a really thin, yeah, like that. Like 4 or something like that. All right. And how to continue from here? What if we feedback this as well? The mask blank trick. Yes, that's a nice one too. So we'll, yeah. So this will be our mask. This will be our input 1. Then we'll invert the footage and blend between it. This is what you mean, right, Stein? It is glitchy. Destroying footage in all new ways. And then maybe now color offset this. Yeah, we're going for glitch. We're not winning any beauty prizes here. Our first real question from Max. It's not super random because we're just messing around here on the stream. So you can ask questions like these. Resources to share surround the best way to achieve edge blending in Resolume. Do you mean edge blending as in video, like edge blending to monitors, to projectors? Is that what you mean? Because we have a video on that on our YouTube channel. It's called the um, dark art of edge blending. I think it's called. It's a bit of an older video, but it should be still relevant. If that is the thing you're looking for, if that's what you mean with edge blending, let me know if that helps you out, and else we'll dive deeper into it. So yeah, we got our glitchy footage. And of course, what always works if you want to have an instant glitch effect would just have a Perlin noise at 100 going into these kinds of channels, and then more. Also 500. Yeah, so the article that Zoltan just shared will hopefully help you on achieving edge blending. And like I said, we also have a video on our YouTube channel called, I think it's called The Dark Art of Edge Blending. But it's good that you mentioned that because that might need an update. Just crisscross these around. Well, Steve, I don't know if this is the effect you were looking for, but it sure as hell is a really glitchy image. This one gets X from 1, Y from 2. Yeah. All right. That was fun in Wire. What I do want to try before we move on is just like see what we can do with some fractal noise and UV offset, or even UV map. Would that make any sense at all using the UV map? Beauty actually goes in there. Nah, I don't think you can do anything with that. UV offsets. And then just like 0.1. Well, that's more noise than offset. Yeah, did you check out the video, the video on our channel? I haven't watched it for ages, so if it's outdated, yeah, let me know, and I'll see if I can get the Resolume guys to send me 2 projectors to make a tutorial. That would be nice. Anyway, enough glitching in Wire. I think we should move on to Arena, in which I haven't created a glitch effect for a long time, but I know there are some guys in the um, uh, in the comment section that are not using Wire, but they are using Arena. So let's see. I'm booting up Arena and see if I can do something cool in that. And I'll share the previous patch I made with you guys. So well, if we didn't change anything since version 4, then I don't think there's a need for updating the video. Saves me work. Aha. So I'll shut this down. And booting up Arena, yes. Oh, I was already thinking, why does it take so long? But I still had the last 3 minutes. Load it up. All right. Let's reset the layouts to default. So I have everything I need. Moving on to Arena. Let's use some default source and glitch that the hell out. So there's one way, like one really, really cheap way to do this. The abstract field would actually be a good source, maybe, to start our glitch Sereno. We have one effect called Twitch, which basically just, well, it's not a glitch. Well, we actually have a shift glitch effect, right? Shift glitch. Well, that's it. And that's it for this week, guys. But yeah, let's not use a sort, but use a piece of content instead. Stupid search bar. So just a normal clip. And we'll create a glitchy effect, like a glitch effect stack in Arena. I don't need these. So here we have the clip. First off, I think the shift glitch. Oh, the shift glitch is a good place to start. So that will definitely mess up your footage. So what we have here is a frequency slider. It's just for how fast these bars are moving. Let's just keep it to the max. And then if I'm correct, it's the amount of bars that you get. So at 1, you get a lot of bars. And at 0, you get almost no bars. Although I even like the subtle effect over the like complete chaos and destruction. The subtle art of destruction. And then you can minimize. Well, maybe we can do a very small size and then a very high frequency. Oh, high frequency. That's a good start. And horizontal will also glitch your footage, like shift the footage horizontal around. But I really don't like the combination of it. Like I think you should do either one of them. So that's a good start. Let's continue with maybe displacement. So I basically want to have this, like move up and down. So to get this to move out of its like by itself, I will timeline it. I will set the play mode to random. Now the range is too large, so the range should be somewhere between maybe 0.6, so it would be, and 0.4, and we're still random, and I want to have the speed at 0. So what this does is that the tape head, so to speak, it does jump around. I'm bypassing this for the moment. It does jump around, but it doesn't play anymore. So I think that's a good way to go. And then the interval, shorter interval, you can get it really jittery or normal, and the distance is just the distance what it jumps. So I think for now, maybe, yeah, it already is repeating. So that's a good one. So we're getting our destruction on. And of course, we want to have some RGB shifting going on. And just one. So little trick with the shift RGB is, instead of fooling around with minute distances here, just put it to -1,1 and then slide the global shift back, and we can get this maybe a 2. All right, awesome. And I also want to timeline this. Same trick as before. Random. I don't want any speed. I want this at 0. So it always jumps to the left, I guess. And then the interval can be quite high. And then on the blue channel, I also timeline it, randomize it, set the lowest point, in this case to 0, the maximum point to 1, so it always moves to the right, and set the speed also at 0, and we got ourselves some nice color shift glitching effect. So we have the color shifting now, we have the displacement going on, we have some of the lines. Well, we're getting pretty close to like a cool cool effect stack. How can you control the randomness speed? So that's a good question, Steve. The speed of the jumps is called the interval. So in this case, if I would lower we can see it in the displacement. So you can see the displacement moving on. I'm going to pause for a second the clip to something that we can recognize. So, yeah, so now we can see the jumps. And if I shorten the interval, the jumps get faster. So that would be the speed. That's the speed of the randomness, and the regular speed is still just the speed of the playhead. This was added a couple of versions of Resolume code. This is quite a recent change, and I think I did make a video, a tutorial about it, on how the randomness works. I think it was Resolume 7 or something that we updated the random system. So there should be a video on that as well. Basically, you just got more control than you had before, because back in the day you had a non-moving playhead and just interval, and now you have control over distance. So distance is actually kind of cool, because if I lower this very small and the speed to 0, now you can see that the playhead only moves by this distance. So you can sort of it's almost an accumulation. So it will never jump too far. This can be very useful, especially when you're randomizing your normal playhead, that you want random jumps, like skips in your video, but not total chaos. So that still sort of the scene makes sense. We got more than we had before, yeah. That's how we roll. So now we have this going on. Let's move this back, this back. Let's get back to playing. All right, and now so the final thing I would add to this to sort of complete it is actually one of my favorite effects in Arena, and this is something the Wire does not have. Um, is the Twitch effect, because the Twitch effect has a ton of parameters. So what does it do? Let's bypass everything again. So what the Twitch does, it at random intervals changes all these variables from your clip. So let's say we have a blur. We're gonna create a very frequent now. So now it's gonna at just random sort of intervals. Of course, higher the frequency, the more often it happens. Let's put a lot of blur and not very frequent. So now at random moments, your footage is getting blurred. It's that simple, right? The cool thing about this is that there's something called position. Let's say we want to move our position by 10. And let's do that. And every once in a while, you're going to get this little screen shake. So that's something we every once in a while. We can also scale it up a little bit. So every once in a while, we're going to scale. Light sort of creates a flash, if I believe. Let's see. Yeah, so it flashes. That's way too much. But every once in a while it gets switched. RGB shift. Well, we're already shifting RGB, but let's shift the shift. Who cares? Opacity, I don't know what that does. Probably lowers your opacity every once in a while. Yeah. Now let's do a little bit. And the blur, just random blurs. All right. And now if we combine all of that, we got ourselves a pretty glitched up footage. What I'm missing is sort of a pixelation effect. We don't have pixelate. How is it called in? I actually lost how it's called in Arena. I've been working with Wire so much. Because we do have something like this. Yeah. We have the low res. That's the final. That's the boss stage. And I think I want to move Switch also up to the top. Because then if it moves, come on, move. Yeah, you don't get the black borders now. Thanks, Stein. Low res, so you can get really, really pixelated with this. But the sweet spot is really over here. And a bit reduction, I don't really care about in this case. I just care about the pixel size. So at 0, there's no reduction. And all the way up to 1, you are reduced to 1 pixel. But the disadvantage is that the sweet spot is really here. So again, I'll timeline it, randomize it, and I don't care about the speed. Let's speed to 0. And I'm going to move the range up all the way to the 80 maybe. And then make sure that 1 is not turned on because that's way too much. And then the interval very high. And then put the low res further on top. Hatsa. Here we go. Is Twitch really heavy on live stream? No, I'm perfectly running 60 FPS, but it could be that the movements that are happening on my screen are maybe a little bit that too fast that OBS might miss a frame or two. Maybe something like that is going on. So here we have a nice little effect stack. It's sort of destructive, but also how you say, it's still usable, I'd say. Um, what would be maybe a cool idea um, is to see if we can replicate this in Wire. So basically, now we're applying 3 to what is it, 5 effects onto a single clip, and it would be cool if there would be just like an Uber destruction effect that we make in Wire. Well, if you're playing around with, I have to end the stream in a bit, but it would be cool to see if this would be a good challenge for next time. Are you guys still reading me? Because I'm having again OBS hitching up on me. So it would be a cool little feature. Talking about challenges, by the way, we did the summer challenge last time. I got 2 admissions for it, but one of the admissions was just one very short but more like funny meme clip, and the other one contained copyrighted material. So that's why I'm not showing them. So, well, I don't know if it's showed copyrighted material, but I think it showed copyrighted material, which is fine. You can just remix stuff all in your free time as much as you want, but I don't want to get into trouble using other people's footage, as we are working for an actual real company. We are actually, Resolume is an actual real company. We're actually real people. Who would have thought that, right? So that was it for this live stream. It was a very glitchy live stream. It was fun to do. I'm getting some cool ideas. Maybe in the future, someday we could do sort of a glitchorama stream with all sorts of tricks and tips on how to glitch your footage out. That would be a cool show. As for Resolume Weekly, I'm going on a holiday, so there probably for the next 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, there won't be a Resolume Weekly, and after that, there will be streams again. Maybe in this format, maybe in a different format, but we always love seeing you guys and hearing from you guys what you're up to. So if there's any questions, pop them down in the comments right now. I'll answer them. I'll post the wire patch in the comments as soon as the live stream is over. And if there's no more questions, I'll see you in the next one. And of course, because there's a delay on the stream, I'm waiting a little bit to see if there's any questions. Basically, when you're hearing my voice, you're hearing me in the future. How's that? That basically makes me the Terminator, right? In a way. Thank you, Kid Blast. Looking forward to see your footage again. All right, I think there's no questions, so I'm wrapping it up. Thank you guys for the holiday wishes. I wish you all the best, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.